Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Alright guys, hello all, and how you guys all doing? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and it's Sunday night of Memorial Day weekend. I know NXT Battlegrounds going on, I know AEW Double or Nothing's going on at the time of recording this video. I apologize, this is late. My original plan was to try to get this recorded Friday after SmackDown, which isn't very likely either way because usually I am tired after SmackDown, because SmackDown's still 3 hours, and then that way I can be caught up for Saturday night's main event. Unfortunately, that did not happen because I ended up having some last minute plans with family. So, of course, not gonna complain. I enjoy my family time, of course. So I did fall, of course, a little behind. Of course, as promised, I'm going to review SmackDown recorded, and I do want to do Saturday night's main event live, but because I have to get up early tomorrow to run a couple errands before I take my son to a parade, I am going to probably just record the SmackDown review tonight. Maybe finally finish the Money in the Bank match card tonight as well, because I am just throwing in the towel on that thing. I'm sorry. I literally have changed that card so many times because I literally just don't know what to predict for some of these matches. I really don't. It's definitely been one of the hardest cards for me to put together. But we'll talk about SmackDown right now. Kind of just blow through it. Another show that was good. It's just this awkward period where it's like there's so many events like condensed together. Like we had Saturday night's main event. Then we have Money in the Bank in now less than 2 weeks. And after that, at the end of June, we have Night of Champions. Then they announced over the weekend they're having the week of July 12th and 13th, they're having I believe it's NXT's Great American Bash. Then they're doing, of course, that weekend's also All In, and I am going to watch All In. There's also American Bash All In. Saturday night's main event again in July, and then that Sunday is going to be Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view for the second time. And then the first weekend in August, 2 nights SummerSlam. So, and of course, don't forget, the end of that month is Clash in Paris. So again, they are literally loading their schedule for the summer right now. So, it is going to be crazy, especially trying to predict these cards, especially since Triple H is sticking to just, 5 matches on these cards. Well, SummerSlam will be bigger, of course. So, yeah, a ton going on. But we're going to talk about SmackDown first. Like I said, we'll talk about SmackDown. Probably wait till tomorrow afternoon maybe to review Saturday night's main event. And, of course, go from there, of course. Like I said, hopefully I get the Money in the Bank card tonight, too. Done, too, tonight. We'll see. But we'll just roll from there. So, SmackDown this past Friday. Again, it was a go-home show for Saturday night's main event. The show opened up with a brawl, which also took place in Savannah, Georgia. They opened up with a brawl backstage with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, teasing for their upcoming steel cage match this coming Saturday. Tiffany Stratton came out, and she cut a promo, recounting her journey to the main roster and being Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, but then she got interrupted by Alexa Bliss, who says she doesn't they don't think they formally met yet, and she recounts her own accolades before saying she's going to win Money in the Bank and cash in on her, same as she did on Nia. Thing is Alexa likes Nia. She doesn't know Tiffany. And if Tiffany thinks her rise to the top was fast, we'll just wait for the downfall. Then out came Charlotte Flair, who's getting ready to be in one of the two Money in the Bank qualifying matches we have on the show, who congratulates Tiffany about her victory at WrestleMania and all she's done in this. And Charlotte's done everything besides win Money in the Bank. And if that's the path she has to take, that's what she's going to have to do. To which Tiffany calls her a low-key giving hypocrite, because did Charlotte say cashing in was the easy way out? Which, of course, does, really make up for the fact when Charlotte literally buried Tiffany on the microphone a couple times. And, of course, they had that abysmal promo where obviously it went wrong, and then they ended up basically taking shots about their relationships and whatnot. But anyways, so yeah, she says that, and she says that her and Alexa are a little vintage, and whether they like it or not, as long as she's champion, it's always going to be Tiffy time. So she makes her way out, and then Julia comes out, and they have who is now on SmackDown. So it's Julia versus Zelina Vega versus Charlotte Flair. A pretty good match with a bunch of great back and forth counters in this match. There were several times where I thought Charlotte was going to win. But to me, they are actually, again, right now, I am somewhat interested in what they're doing with Charlotte Flair. Because they're kind of telling a story where they're really playing in this idea how the crowd is just massively rejecting Charlotte. Again, so much so that they tried to, get sympathy on her from her injury that kept her out for over a year. And the crowd is just acting like she was never welcome back. And now it's like Alexa Bliss is trying to, do something with her to help her. But Charlotte, of course, wants nothing to do with it. Which is interesting, because like I keep saying, the biggest thing Charlotte Flair has been missing is the fact that she hasn't had a feud outside of a championship match. So if you do these non-title feuds, you can get more invested. So I am definitely very interested in where this goes. But because of that, it made no sense to have Charlotte win here. So when Julia got the win, I wasn't surprised. She did pin Zelina Vega. Of course, I can't give away the outcome of the match on Saturday. But they did announce on here that they added a fifth match to Saturday night's main event, which would be Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green in a rematch for the Women's U.S. title. Which I kind of grow when it happened, because I still personally think, even after watching this yesterday's Saturday night's main event, I still think that needs to be a 4-match show. These 5 matches in 2 hours, it just feels like they're rushing some of these things. And I feel like, even though they had to have a women's match on here, because they hadn't had one yet, this didn't need to be on the card, if I'm being honest. But that's set up for that eventually, though. But Julia does qualify for Money in the Bank, just like Roxanne Perez did. So 2 rookies in Money in the Bank. Awesome. DIY kind of promo about how great they are. And they complain about Motor City Machine Guns breathing down their backs and piggybacking off of Johnny's friendship with them. They also call out Fraxium, saying they're delusional, complain about being held back. Something that needs to change. And it'll start tonight, where Tommaso Ciampa takes on Chris Sabin later on in the show. Which is not too long after that. But that's when Zelina Vega, though, who was clutching her neck backstage after her match, she ran to Chelsea Green and her secret Hervice. And Chelsea tells her to stand down and calls Vega a loser, which Zelina goes to attack her, but then the secret Hervice lights her up, and then Mia Yim and B-Fab make the save and brawl, and that sets up for a match with the secret Hervice and Mia Yim and B-Fab later on the show. Tommaso Ciampa also fought Chris Sabin. Ciampa does get the win after Candice LeRae helped the win. So I guess Candice is no longer teaming with Nia. And I guess that she's putting her with Johnny and Tommaso. Interesting, of course. To give her something to do. And Tommaso Ciampa gets the victory. And so they're all 3 working together, which we've seen Johnny and Candice be a heel duo before with The Way. Now Candice is being kind of like their valet, I guess, for them as a tag team. We'll see where that goes. So we have that. Frax is being interviewed as they're going to be main eventing the show in a tag match against the Street Profits, who they've already beaten before. Nathan Frater says it's been a wild ride. This is the biggest match of their career. Axiom says tonight is the Night and the Street Profits are one of the best teams in the world, but they're nothing but a step on their path to greatness. And Flair says they're on the same page. He'll put them up against any other tag team on the planet right now. And then we see Shinsuke Nakamura get ready for his Money in the Bank qualifying match. Damian Priest and McIntyre were brawling again backstage. And then we see Solo Sikoa chatting with not Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo, when Jacob Fatu rolls up. Solo tries to give him a pep talk, but Jacob wants to talk to him in private. Solo says anything he wants, he can say it in front of JC, because he's family. Jacob says he doesn't know, trust, or like Mateo, and he doesn't need their help. They need their help at Backlash. But JC ain't his blood, and damn sure ain't his family. But then JC steps up to him, but Solo diffuses things and tells Jacob to take that energy to the ring, and he needs the two of them to work together as a family and as one. And he tries to do the tongue rolling, you know what I mean, but Jacob cuts him off and tells him to stop. He's not doing it right away. Chelsea Green, of course, and the Secret Hervice go out for their match with B-Fab and Mia Yim. They did lose to them with a neck breaker on Alba Fire. Also, Charlotte was backstage walking when she ran into Alexa Bliss, who says cryptic things like, some creepy things. And Charlotte said, what did you say? And Alexa says, I wasn't talking to you. She pulled back that Lily, which she was talking to. And she says she'll see Charlotte Money in the Bank. Oh, wait. Whoops. Sorry. She's not in it. Also, I did forget that last year's Money in the Bank ladder matches only had 6 people in them. So that also changes my match card, because I was doing 8 people for each match. But it's 6, from what I understand. Angelo Dawkins has a promo about their match, saying it isn't a friendly exhibition. They're going to see at the moment it's too big for them. That Montez affirms that they're going to keep the titles. But then the Bloodline walk by and cold shoulders the tag champs, teasing them, trying to go after them. We'll see where that goes, of course. Legado del Fantasma has a backstage sharing a glass of wine. Basically, they have a pep talk, and they're still showing some dissension with Humberto Carrillo, but they're setting up for a tag match at AAA and the Worlds Collide, I think with NXT and AAA next Saturday, and they're involved in the big tag match. They also announced that, and they also announced Chad Gable versus El Hijo del Vikingo. That sounds pretty awesome. Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo then take on Jimmy Uso and Rey Fenix. Random, but, match was what it was. I didn't really care too much about it. But the Bloodline do win as they should have, as JC Mateo hit his finisher. I guess it's called the Tour of the Islands on Jimmy Uso. And LA Knight was backstage being interviewed, saying Soul has a first-class seat to see him monkey rip the briefcase down off the top of that ladder, and all the time it's time against him since day one, but he's still here. And he's going to return to the city that they made him Los Angeles. He's going to show up, show out, but first he has to walk through the darkness. The lights go down, and of course we then have Aleister Black's entrance, Shinsuke Nakamura's as well, and then R-Truth was shown backstage saluting an image of John Cena. Actually, no, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. I got that part mixed up. I'm sorry here. So they're showing basically the Money in the Bank qualifiers for the men's match backstage. Then they had R-Truth cut this promo, which actually, believe it or not, I really like this promo. R-Truth says he's going to tell us what's up. Everyone keeps asking how he's going to handle fighting his childhood hero, John Cena. They don't get it. He's not fighting his hero. The man he sees now is the man that attacked him. He don't recognize that man. He figured out, though, what the problem is. And that problem is power. John used to call him his friend, his brother. But the more power and fame he got, the more disconnected he felt. And he says how all this stuff slowed down and stopped. He felt like John was always annoyed with him because no matter what he did, it was wrong, and he blamed himself. Then he thought he upset him or got on his nerves, and then started talking to others who felt the same way. John isolated himself with power. He was like that goblin fella on Lord of the Rings, corrupted with all the power he gave. And that's you, John Cena, staring at your championship, calling it precious. And it's not the title, it's your ego. He doesn't like who John has become. He doesn't believe he's happy. He's the GOAT, and he's not going to take his joy from him. You want to ruin wrestling? If he wants to save wrestling, he has to save John. And he doesn't want to have to put his hands on him. But if he has to, he will beat the ever-living hustle, loyalty, and respect right back into his ass. He then says he misses his hero. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Come on. He misses his hero. He can't deny it. So on Saturday, we say it again. Cena wins. We riot. Good promo. Again, I do like that they had some more, seriousness in that promo from R-Truth. We don't see that too often. Makes me do also want to witness him as a heel one last time. So I technically never got to witness him the first time, because I wasn't watching in 2011, but, But great promo I liked from R-Truth, for sure. Excuse me. There was a promo cut with Naomi, Jay Cargill, and Nia Jax. They're going to be in a qualifying match next week for the final spot on SmackDown. LA Knight does defeat Aleister Black and Shinsuke Nakamura on in their qualifying match. He won, though, by pushing Aleister Black out of the way after he basically had the match won. So I don't know what's going to set up that there, but LA Knight is in the match. I thought Aleister Black was not going to be in the match because of Miz and Carmelo Hayes, but they didn't interfere. But they were watching backstage, and they just said how Melo has a match next week. And I guess apparently it was given to either Miz or Hayes, but Miz gave it to Carmelo Hayes, which I think he will be in the match for sure, Carmelo Hayes. There's a hype video for Jey Uso, Logan Paul. Then Nick Aldis rolls up and tells them that Jacob Fatu is in the final men's qualifying match next week. Which Soul says that's awesome. They're both going to win, and the briefcase will be in the bag. But Jacob gives him a playful swat on the arm and tells him he loves him. Which again, is that, should he be concerned, or who knows? But I don't know if Jacob will get in or not. I still think it's going to be Mello, but you never know. Jacob can still get in there. We also get a hype reel for Bianca Belair, who's talking about what she's been, dealing with since she hurt her hand at WrestleMania. But apparently she's coming back next week. Very interesting where that goes. We'll see where that happens. And then finally, the main event. Street Profits and Fraxium. We're having an excellent tag team match, but we see teams like DIY and MCMG get involved in the match too as well, along with Candice LeRae. But then the lights went out toward the end of the match. And at first I'm like, eh? Who's showing up with a light incident and whatnot. But then the lights turned on and I'm like, this makes sense. It's the Wyatt 6. They make their return after being gone for quite a while, and they basically beat everybody down to end the show. Afterwards, they posed in the ring, and then they also blew out a cake because it would have been Bray Wyatt's 38th birthday. Great ending for sure. Good to see the Wyatt 6 back. I'm assuming they're going to be involved in the tag title picture since, they've interfered in this match. My thing, though, is who's going to be the tag team? Is it going to be Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan? Could it be Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy? Or is it just literally just like a Freebird role? Who knows? But yeah, that's SmackDown. Again, I kind of rushed through it. I don't have too much to say, really. Again, I'm just, trying to get caught up. I gave the show a B, though. Great ending. Some good stuff on the show as well. Did well. So that's thoughts on SmackDown, guys. I want to let you guys go for tonight. What are your guys' thoughts on SmackDown? You guys thoughts in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well to Club with Man 93. Also follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Club with Man 93. Until then, guys, I'll check it out. I'll catch y'all later. Have a great night. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just a pain, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!